everyone. Today, I will discuss about the measures of dispersion. Ano nga ba ang measures of dispersion? Measures of dispersion help to interpret the variability of a data. Why dispersion important in statistics? The measures of dispersion are important as it helps in understanding how much data is spread around a central value. How to calculate dispersion? Dispersion can be calculated using various measures like mean, standard deviation, variance, range, etc. To measure the spread or dispersion of data, we must introduce statistical values known as the range, standard deviation, and the variance. First is the range. What is range in dispersion? Range of a set of data values is the difference between the greatest data value and the least data value. From the word difference, meaning may subtraction na mangyayari. So, I will give you an example in this video.
Sa video ito, makikita natin kung paano natin makukuha yung range. So, nagbigay ako ng example. These 2, 4, 7, 12, and 15. So, sabi nga sa range, it is a difference between the greatest data value and the least data value. So, dito sa nabigay na example, ano yung pinakamalaking number? Which is the 15. So, ito na yung 15. Yung pinakamaliit na data value is the number 2. So, which is 2. So, difference, meaning may minus na mangyayari. So, 15 minus 2 is equals to 13. Kasi nga, yung 15 is the greatest data value minus the least data value, which is the number 2. So, ima-minus mo lang yung dalawang number na yun. The 15 minus 2 is equals to 13. So, ito yung magiging range mo. So, I have another example. So, I'll give you an example. Negative 23, negative 17, negative 19, negative 5, negative 4, negative 11, and negative 31. So, dito sa example na to, ano yung pinakamalaking value dito sa number na to? So, remember, kapag ang number na binigay sa inyo is may mga negatives, so, hindi kayo magbe-base kung ano yung pinakamalaking number. Kung ano yung pinakamaliit na number na may negative, yun yung pinaka-highest, which is the number 4. So, kung ano yung pinakamalaking number dito na negative, yun yung magiging least data value nyo, which is number 31. So, paano mo makukuha yung range? Tulad nga ng sabi, the difference between the greatest data value minus the least data value. So, ang pinakamalaking value dito sa nabigay na example sa letter B is number 4. So, negative 4 minus the negative 31. So, the answer is for this is 27. Kasi magiging positive na nga ito.
Second is the standard deviation. What is standard deviation? In statistics, it is a measure of dispersion that is less sensitive to extreme values, a set of numerical data that makes use of the amount by which individual data value deviates from the mean.
In standard deviation, may dalawang ginagamit na formulas, which is for the standard deviation of the population and the standard deviation of the sample. So, sa standard deviation of population, this will be used as a Greek letter sigma. Ito yung Greek letter na sigma is equals to the square root of summation of x minus mu raised to the power of 2 over n. So, kung matatandaan nyo, itong mu na ito is ginagamit sa central tendency na symbol ng mean of the population. So, over n. N stands for the numerical, kung ano yung nabigay na, kung ilan yung nabigay na sample na number sa standard deviation, para makuha nyo yung standard deviation. The next is the standard deviation of the sample. Sa standard deviation of the sample is, magagamit mo yung S, kasi from the word sample, is equals to square root for summation of x minus x bar raised to the power of 2 over n minus 1. So, may pinagkaiba yung population and sample. Sa population, n lang. Ibig sabihin, numerical lang ang need. Pero, sa sample of, for the standard deviation of sample, ang magagamit nyo is, sa over niya is n minus 1. Yan ang pinagkaiba ng dalawang formula.
Take note, you may question why on denominator of n minus 1 is used instead of n when we compute a sample standard deviation. The reason is that a sample standard deviation is often used to estimate the population standard, and it can be shown mathematically that the use of n minus 1 tends to yield better estimate. We have the procedure for computing a standard deviation. So number 1 is to determine the mean of the n numbers. Number 2, for each number, calculate the deviation or the difference between the number of the mean of the numbers. Number 3 is to calculate the square of each deviation and find the sum of the squared deviation. Number 4, if the data is a population, then divide the sum of n. If the data is a sample, then divide the sum by n minus 1. Number 5 is to find the square root of the quotient in step 4.
To find the standard deviation, so I will give an example. Okay. Meron ako ditong nilagay na 2, 4, 7, 12, and 15. So, this will be standard deviation for a sample. Kasi wala namang sinabing, from the meaning naman na population, big sabihin tao yun, di ba? So, ito, number lang naman siya. So, mahulog siya sa sample, standard deviation per sample. Okay. To find the solution, so, the first step nga, di ba? To find the mean of the number. So, sa mean, para mahanap natin yung standard deviation per sample. So, the step 1 is to find the mean of the numbers. So, ilan ba yung number dito sa nabigay na sample? So, 5. Ilalagay natin yung 5. So, sample nga is x bar. Ito yung mga sample data. So, 2 plus 4. So, i-add lang natin itong 5. 5 number na to. Plus 7, plus 12, plus 15. Over kung ilan yung number na nabigay na sample. Okay? So, ilan itong number na to is, bilangin nyo lang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, which over 5. Okay? Then, i-add mo siya. X bar is equals to 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 12 plus 15 is equals to 40. Then, over 5. So, i-divide mo tong 40, yung sagot dito, 40 divided by dito 5 is equals to 8. So, ito yung magiging mean of the number sa standard deviation ngayon. So, nahanap na natin yung mean. Okay? Nagawa na natin yung step 1 sa standard deviation. So, kinuha na natin yung the mean of the numbers. Okay? Sa step 2, for each number, calculate the deviation between the number and the mean. So, between the number and the mean. Diba? Ito yung mean. This will be the numerical data, sample data. Kung ilan yung nabigay na sample data doon. Okay? So, ilan nga ba yung nabigay na sample data? Ito yung mga sample data na given. So, the sample data is 2, 4, 7, 12, and 15. Okay? So, dito sa pangalawang table, ano yung x dito? So, kung ano yung x dito, yun ang ilalagay nyo dito sa x, okay? Which is the 2, 4, 7, 12, and 15. Okay? So, dito sa x bar, ano nga ba yung sagot doon sa mean number? So, nasagutan na natin yun, which is na 8 yung sagot natin sa step 1. So, yun yung x bar na sagot. So, minus mo lang yung x bar ng value nun is 8. Okay? Ima-minus mo lang sila sa 8. Kasi yun yung value ng mean. Then, add this one. Okay? So, 2 minus 8 is equals to negative 6. Okay? 4 minus 8 is equals to negative 4. Okay? 7 minus 8 is equals to negative 1. Then 12 minus 8 is equals to 4. And 15 minus 8 is equals to 7. So, this will be the answer for step 2. So, in step 3, in how to get the standard deviation, so, calculate the square of each deviation in step 2. And find sum of the square deviation. So, yung ginawa natin sa step 2, which is the first column, the second column. So, kinuha natin yung sagot ni, yung, ano yung value nila. Then, sa third column, yun na yung squared ng second column. Okay? So, dito sa first column, isusulat lang natin yung sample data. So, given na number yon. So, 2, 4, 7, and 12, and 15. So, sa second column, yun na yung x minus x bar. So, yung equivalent ng x is yun na yung sample data na given. And sa minus x bar, yun na yung sagot sa step 1, which is the 8. Okay? So, ima-minus natin sila. So, 2 minus 8 is equals to negative 6, so on and so forth. Okay? Then, dito sa third column, yung value ng second column na x minus x bar. Okay? Pero, may squared na siya. Is ano yung squared ng bawat number na sagot nila dito sa x minus x bar. Okay? Squared na kasi may squared na siya. So, ang sagot dito sa second column na negative 6, okay? So, kung ano yung squared niya, which is yung sagot is negative 6 times negative 6 is equals to positive 36. Okay? So, sa next column, next number is, ang sagot niya is negative 4. So, negative 4 times negative 4, kasi squared nga ang hinahanap, is equals to 16. Okay? So, next is negative 1 times negative 1 is equals to positive 1. Then, the next is 12 minus 8 is equals to 4. Then, ang sagot niya dito is 4. So, hanapin mo yung squared niya, which is 4 times 4 is equals to 16. So, the next answer is 15 minus 8 is equals to 7. Okay? So, sagot niya dito is 7. So, hanapin mo yung squared ng 7. So, 7 times 7 is 49. Step 4 sa how to get the standard deviation. So, because we have a sample of n is equals to 5 values. 5 values kasi 5 yung nabigay na sample data. Diba? Divide the sum 118 by n minus 1, which is 4. Bakit? Yung sagot n is equals to 5 values, yun na yung 5 values na binigay na sample data. Then, yung x minus x bar raised to the power of 2, kung ano yung sagot natin sa step 3, which is 118, yung sagot natin sa 18. Yung squared niya, ang kinuha natin, di ba? Then, n minus 1, so yung n dito, yun na yung given number na 5 sa sample data. Yun na yung 5 minus 1 na alam naman natin sa standard deviation of the sample, ang ginagagamit talaga na over doon is n minus 1. Kaya yun itong nagagamit natin. So, nakuha na natin yung x minus x to the x bar raised to the power of 2, yun na yung equivalent niya is 118. Over 4 kasi 5 minus 1. Okay. Then, ang sagot nito is 29.5. Dito sa step 5, so dito na natin magagamit yung formula ng sample, standard deviation of the sample, which is S is equals to square root of summation of x minus x bar raised to the power of 2 over n minus 1. Kasi sample, standard deviation for sample ang hinahanap. Nakuha na natin, kaya nga natin kailangan step by step yung gagawin para makuha natin itong mga value ng bawat hinihinging number. X, so summation of x minus x bar raised to the power of 2, equivalent nun na sagot is 118. Okay, 118 over 4. Yun na yung sagot na n minus 1. So, 4. Then, 118 divided by 4. So, ang sagot dito is 29.5. Then, may square root siya. So, hahanapin natin ngayon yung square root ng 29.5. So, ang sagot dito is 5.43.
Third is the variance. So, what is the variance in measures of dispersion? So, it is the measures of dispersion for a given set of data if the square of the standard deviation.
To get the variance of the measures of dispersion, alam naman natin na yung variance is the squared of the standard deviation. So, merong mga ginagamit din ng variance na mga formulas for population of the variance and the sample of the variance. So, meron ditong population na formula, which is Greek letter na sigma squared is equals to summation of x minus mu raised to the power of 2 over n. For the sample variance is s squared is equals to summation of x minus x bar raised to the power of 2 over n minus 1. Yung sagot natin sa standard deviation is, kung kukunin natin ngayon kung ano yung squared niya. So, nakuha natin yung, so ito yung gagamitin nating formula. Kasi nga, sample data yung hinahanap. So, ito yung hanapin, kukunin natin yung formula, sample. So, nakuha na natin yung equivalent ng x minus x bar raised to the power of 2, which is 18. So, ang n dito is yung 5 minus 1. So, 118 divided by 4. Ang sagot ngayon ng variance is 29.5. So, ganun lang kadali kukunin yung variance niya. Yun lang yung squared ng standard deviation. Kaya, remember that. Meron akong binigay ulit na example para mas maintindihan natin yung paano kukunin yung range, the standard deviation and the variance. So, meron akong binigay na situation. So, find the range, standard deviation, and variance of the given sample. So, meaning sample na naman of the data. So, meron, ito yung mga given sample data, which is 48, 59, 68, 81, 87, 91, 92, 93, and 100. So, para kukunin yung range, alam natin yung range is find the greatest value minus the least data value. Diba? So, ang pinakamalaking data value dito is 100. So, minus sa pinakamaliit na data value, which is the 48. So, 100 minus 48 is equals to 52. So, ito na yung magiging range natin is 52. Sa standard deviation, so, meron ako ginawa ditong parang chart siya para mas maintindihan natin, di ba? So, x is the numerical data. The second column is the x minus x square, x bar. So, ito yung equivalent ng numerical data and this is the sample mean. Okay? For the third column is x minus x bar raised to the power of 2. So, para makuha natin yung standard deviation, dito tayo magpo-focus muna sa first column. So, first column, aalamin muna natin kung ano yung mga sample data na given. So, which is the 48, 59, 68, 81, 87, 91, 92, 93, and the 100. So, nakuha na natin yung first column. So, the second column ngayon is yung numerical data minus sa sample mean. So, the sample mean is, paano makuha yung sample mean? So, sa sample mean, yun yung first step. Para makuha natin yung sample mean, which is the sample mean is equals to kung ilan yung given sample data. Ilalagay natin dito lahat. I-add natin lahat yung mga sample data divided by 2 kung ilan yung sample data na binigay, which is, ang sample data is 48 plus 59 plus 68 plus 81 plus 87 plus 91 plus 92 plus 93 plus 100 over 9. 9 kasi ang sample data na binigay is 9 numbers. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, i-divide natin yung sagot dito sa nakuha nating sample data over kung ilan yung data value. So, 719 over 9 is equals to 79.81. So, ito yung mean value ng mean values. Para makuha natin yung mean value dito. So, 79.81. Nakuha na natin yung mean value, yung equivalent ng X bar. So, sabi nga dito sa second column, so, X minus X bar, which is yung X na value is yung mga number na binigay na sample data. So, 48, 59, 68, 81, 87, 91, 92, 93, and 100. Ima-minus mo siya ngayon sa sample mean. So, yung sagot ng sample mean is 71.89. So, 48 minus 79.89 is equals to negative 31.81. Yan yung sagot sa first. At the second is 59 minus 79.89 is equals to negative 20.89. So, the third one is 68 minus 79.89 is equals to negative 11.89. The fourth is 81.79.81 is equals to 1.11. The next is 87.79.89 is equals to 7.11. Then 91 minus 79.89 is equals to 11.11. The next is 92.79 79.89 is equals to 12.11. And the next is 93 minus 79.89 is equals to 13.11. Then the last one is 100 minus 79.89 is equals to 20.11. So, nakuha na natin yung second column. So, para makuha natin, the next is yung third column. Para makuha na. So, nakuha na natin yung value ng X at ng X bar. So, dito sa third column is yung squared ng X minus X bar raised to the power of 2, yung squared niya. So, yung sagot dito sa second column, which is the negative 31.89, yung squared niya. Kukunin natin yung squared ng sagot sa second column. So, negative 31.89 times negative 31.89 is equals to 1,016.97. So, sa second naman is negative 0.20.89 raised to the power of 2 is equals to 436.39. The next is negative 11.89 raised to the power of 2 is equals to 141.37. Next is 1.11 raised to the power of 2 is equals to 1.23. Next is 7.11 raised to the power of 2 is equals to 50.55. The next is 11.11 squared is equals to 123.43. The next is 12.11 squared is equals to 146.65. The next is 13.11 squared is equals to 171.87. And the last one is 20.11 squared 404 is equals to 404.41. So, nakuha na natin lahat ng column. Para makuha natin yung standard deviation, kumpletuhin muna natin yung nasa table. Okay. So, dito na tayo pupunta sa standard deviation. So, ang standard deviation of the sample, kasi sample ang binigay na given. So, ang gagamitin ko ngayong formula is S is equals to square root of summation of x minus x bar squared over n minus 1. Kasi nga sample given na binigay. So, ang equivalent ng summation of x minus x bar squared is yung sagot dito sa third table. So, i-add itong lahat ng mga sagot dito sa third table, which is, pag in-add mo to, ang sagot is 2,492.87. So, ito ang maging equivalent ng summation of x minus x bar raised to, squared. So, dito nakuha na natin yung x, summation of x minus x bar squared. Ito na yung equivalent niya is 2,492.87. So, over n minus 1, which is yung n is yung equivalent, ilan yung sample given. So, 9 yung nabigay na given number. So, 9 minus 1. Then, s is equals to square root of 2,492.87, equivalent nito, minus 8. Kasi 9 minus 1 is equals to 8. Then, i-divide natin yung 2,492.87 over, divided by 8 is 31.11, 311.61 square. Kung kukunin natin ngayon yung square root niya. So, ang square root ngayon ng 311.61 is 17.65. So, ito ngayon ang magiging standard deviation natin. The next is how to get the variance. So, dito sa variance, alam naman natin na ang variance is the squared of the standard deviation. So, variance, so ang given na data is sample. So, ang gagamitin ko rin na formula is sample for the variance. So, ang formula ng sample variance is S squared is equals to summation of x minus x bar squared over n minus 1. So, ang equivalent nga ng x minus x bar squared is yung 2,492.87. Ito na yun siya. Then, over 9 minus 1. Kasi 9, yun na yung given number. 9. Then, i-divide natin ngayon yung 2,492.87. So, over 8. Kasi 9 minus 1 na siya. Kaya magiging 8 na lang. So, pag na-divide na natin itong 2,492.87 divided by 8, ang sagot po is 311.61, which ito yung variance ng binigay na data dito. Ito na yung magiging variance natin, is yung 311.61, kasi siya nga yung, ang variance kasi is the squared of the standard deviation.